Blog Talk Radio.
I sit alone with windows wide when everyone is sleeping. At midnight I can hear the cry of ancient spirits weeping, and I listen for the heart of me to tell me what they know. If history bears repeating, won't you let me go? I watch the hours, the creeping flowers growing over my window, the laughing sky pregnant with clouds breathe children in a bubble, and I listen for the heart of me to tell me what they know. If history bears repeating, won't you let me go? The tide is coming in again to wash away my sorrow.
What?
I sit alone with windows wide. Windows wide.
Good evening, Paranormal Geeks. This is February 5th, 2013. Tonight's guest is going to be Christopher Booth, and we also have some other people who are going to be calling in tonight. As most of you know, last week, down at Ashmore Estates, down in Ashmore, Illinois, just west of Charleston, Illinois, they had a tornado, straight line winds, and it ripped the roof right off of Ashmore Estates. And it was a fairly new roof. I think it was only a year or two old, maybe 3 years old. And the pictures I've seen, it was laying in front of the building. It was quite a big wind, quite a little wind there that took that off. So tonight, I say with Christopher on, we were going to talk about his films and what they have in their future, but it looks like tonight's show is going to be all dedicated to Ashmore Estates. The owner of Ashmore Estates, Scott Kelly, is supposed to be in the room here in a minute, and Michelle Baker, who is going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on with the fundraising and stuff that's going to be taking place. I believe they have a tentative date, and I think it's pretty solid, as March 2nd in about 4 or 5 weeks here, and that's going to be quite a task. I've seen pictures taken from the roof today, and all that you see is just the base, the attic floor. The attic floor is there. There are some bricks there, and the ends, I can't remember what the ends of the building are called, but they're little triangle things. I want to say fascia, but I know that's not it. I can't remember what it's called. And just parts of that are left in the bricks. It's pretty nasty. So right now we do have Scott Kelly just came on. So I'm going to bring Scott on. Scott, are you here with us tonight?
Yes, I am. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Not too bad, sir. One of these days I'm going to have to meet you. I'm just up here in Champaign, so there's no excuse for me not getting down there.
Okay.
But like I was saying, that we were just going to start this out with just Christopher, but all this happened, and we've you've got a bunch of people behind you now. The outpouring of love and concern for this building, and for you, for your family too, for you and your wife. I mean, that had to be a really hairy experience that night.
Yeah, it was. We were just 200 feet from the building when all this happened, and we're surprised that we're still alive because the tornado just ripped that roof off and destroyed some other buildings on the property. And I just bought a camper 3 weeks before this, and then I just got it home like a week or so before. As a matter of fact, we just cleaned the camper that day. Cleaned the outside of the camper, and it rolled over once and then a quarter, and it's just sitting on its side right now.
I saw the picture of it laying there on its side, and man, you guys, and then I saw your home there. I guess that's to the east of the building, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, and I think you'd mentioned that I'd put up some pictures of the roof today, and yeah, you can see how close the mobile home is to the building. Because one of the pictures is from the top of the building looking at the mobile home.
That has to be, what, 50 or 60 yards from the building?
200 feet.
200 feet. Good God. Man,
yeah, we heard all the rumbling and everything, and it was pretty hairy. Happened about 10:30 at night. We had just gone to bed, and our internet wasn't working good, so we couldn't check on the weather. And right before the power went off, my cell phone finally got a picture of weather.com, and I saw a line of clouds, and there was a break every once in a while in the line of clouds, and we must have gotten right between one of those breaks, because my neighbor across the street said that he was watching it, and he said that it was a tornado that didn't touch the ground.
Wow.
And he watched a telephone pole snap right next to his house.
Well, I was on a show you were on last night, and how many telephone poles did you say were snapped? 50 some odd?
42.
42.
I heard differing things, but that was an Ameren spokesman said that there was 42, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, they have enough of their money; they ought to be able to hire somebody that can count right. So we'll go with that one.
Well, it was devastating. I mean, when I went out I went out that night and drove around, and it was like a war zone. It was like somebody blown off a nuclear bomb close by or something.
Now, was that last Tuesday night or Monday night?
It was a week ago.
Week ago tonight.
It was on the 29th.
Okay.
And we're actually about 2.5 hours from the anniversary, the 1 week anniversary, I guess.
Yeah, that's one you're not going to be celebrating every year, is it?
No. I mean, it was really bizarre because the lights went off. We looked out the window. The only lights that we saw were the lights on my backhoe, and it was shining across the front of the building, and there was a bunch of debris on the ground, and we didn't know what it was. And my wife said, "Where's the camper? Where's the camper?" And I'm like, "Where is the camper?" And we saw some debris in front of the building, and we thought that the camper had blown over there. And after I went outside, I realized that You had asked what those things are called, the triangles. They're dormers.
Right.
And it had taken out all 4 dormers that were on the building. And the dormers are brick triangles that are built for the ends of where the roof is.
Yeah, I actually couldn't remember what that thing was called because that's all my years at Home Depot. I didn't listen very well. Also, we do have Christopher Booth on. So I'm going to bring Chris on. Or can you hear us okay, Chris?
Hello. Hey, Scott. Hello, Jim.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Chris.
I'm good. Thank you very much. I just had the, it's not the word, it's pleasure I used to see those new photos, Scott, you put up. That's incredibly devastating. It just leaves me with an empty heart every time I see those photos, the new ones, and intense. I can only imagine how you must feel when you're up there. I mean, I just couldn't imagine it. I mean, the dread and the loss.
I've spent lots of time inside of that roof, having been the one who actually built that roof on there, put the metal on it. But it's very weird being up on in that attic, and it's the roof now.
We filmed up there, I believe. Phil went up there. I think Phil went up there solo with a camera trying to find something, and he went up there. I remember that. I think it's in the behind the scenes of that. But so, how are you doing today?
Very, very tired. It's been a lot of work.
Yeah, it looks like it's still a lot more ahead. And one halfway decent thing is the weather is not terribly bad. Like today, it was like 42 out, so it's not teens like it was last week.
That's correct. If you can trust weather.com, we're supposed to have freezing rain on Thursday night.
Oh, crap.
And then Sunday we're supposed to have rain all day.
Well, let's get praying. We get praying that it doesn't rain, okay? That's what we need to do.
Well, water right now is a real big problem, and I have a lot of cleaning off of that attic floor before I can put tarps down. Because if I put tarps down right now, they're gonna shred, and that won't do us any good.
Yeah. The wind. You got a high wind going on still.
Today it was rather pleasant, but I was exhausted, and I only was able to work about half the day. We didn't have real bad winds today, but my 2 sons and I were working on it today, and we were all pretty exhausted.
Bless them.
Maybe what you can do right down the middle there, from end to end, is make a small pitch, like maybe a 3-foot pitch, with tarps over it, just to let the water drain off to the sides. Put tarps over it, like a little tent area there or something.
Yeah, in a normal situation, it probably would be okay, but this building doesn't have any wind block for more than a mile in most directions.
That's true, out in the middle of that field. That's true.
Yeah, it is. It is right there in the middle of the field, and we get the fury of weather when it decides to blow.
Yeah, both rain and snow. The winds go whipping across the plains there. Now,
they do. I mean, if you're in doing a paranormal investigation in the building, and it's windy, you get all that sound, and it really creates quite a wonderful aura inside the building.
Oh yeah. Well, at home here, whenever we have a nice windy day, I'll open up a couple windows on either side of my apartment just to have that whistle, just to have that noise go through the apartment. It's kind of weird that way. But it's kind of a creepy person, I guess. So it was a week ago today, and what all's been happening? You couldn't get right to it for about a day or two, could you, before everything kind of dried out, or did you just jump right into working on this?
We weren't able to do a lot the first day because the weather wasn't very cooperative. And the second day we weren't able to do a lot either. It snowed. See that Tuesday, Wednesday,
No.
Thursday. We did some on that day. We did most of our work on Saturday, and we had about 30, 40 people here, somewhere in that area, and we cleaned up the debris field because debris was blown. Until yesterday morning, we thought that the north roof had landed on the attic, and just the wood is there from the north roof. Almost all of the metal had blown, and it was up to a mile away.
Holy cow. That's amazing. And I say, and then going back to the very beginning of the show, it's just amazing that you or your wife weren't hurt, and that's a gift from heaven right there. Now, I'm sorry, go on.
In my son's words, he said at about 11:30 that night. This happened at about 10:30. After we figured out what had happened, we kind of got together in the living room and we were discussing it. And he said, and my son's 14, and he said, "We are so blessed." Mm-hmm. And that's, I just have to think about that we're just so blessed that we stayed alive.
Yep.
Yes. That's what you do have to think about.
Now, Ashmore, the building itself, the main building, that was built back in almost 100 years ago, right? We're getting close to a 100-year anniversary on that.
97 years ago. It was built in 1916.
16, yeah. So, yeah, we got to keep it around for that. We got to keep it around for that 100-year anniversary.
We'd really like to. That is our goal.
Excellent. Well, also online or on the phone tonight, I have Michelle Baker. She's helping get the troops all in order for this benefit that they're going to be having the first part of March. And Michelle, are you on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Very well. Very well. I thought maybe this might be a good time to maybe let everybody know what you guys have planned, who all's involved, and what you guys have planned for this benefit in March.
Right now, we are planning for March the 2nd. We don't have our venue set yet, although we do have a very solid lead on the venue. We have lots of donations pouring in from the paranormal community, which we are so thankful for, but we still need more. We'll be auctioning off all of the donations that we get, and every bit of profit is going to go to fix Ashmore.
Sweet.
I've got to send you my hat then, Michelle. I've got to send you my funky hat so you can auction that off.
As long as Tanya doesn't steal it.
That's right. That's correct. No, you get your hands off that, Tanya. Get your hands off that.
You have one about 7 3/4.
Ooh. Oh, we got two people to keep their hands off of that.
I'll start to save. I'll save my income tax. Yeah, that'd be nice to have something. That'd be a nice draw there. Just people want to. I'll just charge people to come up and touch it.
Well, Christopher, I know my hat's probably not worth as much, but I'm going to donate one too.
Okay, well there you go. There you go.
That'd be nice. That'd be very nice. So, what else? Do you have anything else, Michelle? Anything else planned? Anything like entertainment or anything, or is it still just way too early?
We are still in talks with several bands. We don't have anybody pinned down yet. This was pretty sudden, tornadoes kind of just happen out of the blue. So we're just trying to piece stuff together as quick as we can.
Okay.
But with Living Dead Paranormal, who is sponsoring the auction, along with Mid-Illinois Ghost Society, IMPS, and MIPA, which are local groups, I think that we can really make headway on the repairs that need to be done.
I believe so too, and I think it'll get things will keep growing and growing and growing. I mean, Scott has a beautiful passion in the building, and I mean, I know that the pictures look rough, but it was a lot rougher a few days ago. I mean, a lot of people have come by to really help, and there's a lot of people who have been donating. So it's been a great start.
It really has been, Christopher, and I'm so proud of everyone in Ashmore right now, because on Wednesday when my family pulled up to the building, I thought, oh my gosh, it's all gone. And then by Saturday I had faith again that we're not done.
Yes.
Now, how much have you guys heard anything from the community, whether like the city of Ashmore is going to do anything, or the city of Mattoon? You get anything from there, or the students at Eastern?
I have not heard anything yet, although I do have a call in to several sororities on campus. Spooky, have you heard anything from Charleston, Mattoon, or Ashmore?
I have not heard anything at all from any of the local authorities at all.
Well, those cities need to get on it, because this is it's a good draw. You have teams coming out there spending the night, and if they're coming from afar, they're going to have some place to sleep. That gives the hotels, motels there in Mattoon some business, and over Halloween, people coming down to the haunted house, they have to stop somewhere for dinner, or after they leave somewhere for dinner, they need to realize that it's a brick building out in the middle of a cornfield, but it's a good draw. It's helping them also.
Well, we do work well with local communities during the paranormal, or during the haunted house that's in October, but there's not a lot for the community to do during the time that paranormal investigators are here, because they're usually here
right
after everybody's closed.
Yep, that's true. Okay. Now, with the my cat just jumped up here and knocked my notes down. Okay, here we go. I'm back online again. Sorry about that. The how many paranormal investigations were you averaging a year there at Ashmore?
Well, it picked up quite a bit after we were on Ghost Adventurers, and Ghost Adventurers, when they were here, they were our 35th, and we're at 67 right now.
Okay.
And we had, when Christopher came, our numbers were real low. He was there in 2008 and 2009, and we were probably had 20 or so by then. And then let's see, we're filmed for, actually tomorrow night we're on the Sci-Fi Channel on Ghost Hunters. They were here in December, and then Living Dead Paranormal was here the week before this happened.
Okay.
So we've had, Christopher started it all off with Children of the Grave, and we've had a lot of interest. Yeah.
Now, Christopher, you want to tell a little bit about what you guys are doing with the Children of the Grave videos?
Well, we've pledged that every DVD we will give $10 towards Ashmore to help with whatever it may be, clean up, whatever, and we're basically aiming to put a new roof on that puppy. So what we've decided to do is, it's going to be an ongoing thing for a while, is that anytime you buy the DVD Children of the Grave 2, we're going to take $10 and give it to Scott's Fund to help restore Ashmore, and it's been going pretty well. Of course, we do need a lot more help. You don't have to necessarily get the DVD. I mean, there is also a direct donation that's on our front page on Spook TV that you can directly donate whatever you can. I mean, if 1,000 people say went ahead and donated $40 each, or maybe 2,000 people, whatever, did 20, we could put a roof on that thing right away. So the idea is that if we can all just maybe not smoke an extra pack of cigarettes or have a Starbucks coffee, we could put a roof on that puppy. And I know that there'll be an incredible amount of beautiful people that will be very happy to see that happen, as well as the paranormal community can actually have a great place, and it is an charismatic place. Out of all the places that we've shot, it truly was an incredible adventure for us. I mean, just the charisma alone inside the building, and also the evidence that we had found, and just the feeling inside was just worth it alone. I mean, it's definitely like a Waverly Hills sanatorium in a mini form. So it's worth saving, and it's a very creepy building in general. And the area as well has an incredible aura about it as well. So I mean, if you do the history, if you find out the history on it, it's pretty intense. So we need to keep these buildings alive. We need to keep these buildings going. We're losing far too many of them, and it's important. Otherwise, where we're going to go, where we're going to start going. We're not necessarily going to go to Walmart anymore. I mean, we're not going to Walmart and investigate. We need to keep these buildings going.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was involved shortly with a preservation project with Morgan Cottage up at Mantino.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I've done maybe 2 or 3 investigations there, I think 3.
Is that the one we shot?
Yes.
And we filmed that in that's what is it? That's in The Possessed. Sorry, we've done so many films.
Yes.
That's in The Possessed, and that was an incredible place. But of course, a lot of those buildings have been torn down now.
Exactly. I hadn't been up there for about a year because there's this whole deal that we were going to try to get the place not refurbished, but get it up for investigations and stuff. That went south, and it went real sour. So I hadn't been up there in about a year and a half, and myself and Carol Kalk on my paranormal team, we drove up there and stopped and looked at it on our way up to Chicago. We were heading to Bachelor's Grove, and the place has just been torn apart. All the metal door frames are all gone. It's really, really sad. And you could close your eyes and see how that place looked 80 years ago, or even 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when the place was still open.
Yeah, the hydrotherapy rooms are really, really wicked in that place.
They are.
Yeah, the first 6 bathtubs in a row, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, we got an incredible film out of that from that show. It's very intense, and that was places in pretty bad shape. Ashmore is not in that sort of shape. Ashmore carries the same charisma, but nowhere near that. It's completely devastated. Like, that place was very devastated when we filmed it. But Ashmore has a very it has a very ominous vibe inside it. I mean, being that the third floor had actually housed mental patients at a time too, as well as being a poor farm, among other things. It has all kind of different kind of oppression in it, and different kind of feelings that you can pick up, and different stories you can get out of it. So it's an incredible place for definitely for paranormal. Not mention tours, and it makes an incredible haunted house.
Oh yeah. With me I'm only 50 miles away from there, I'm kicking myself in the rear end for not going down there and investigating that place. So another reason to get it going again is so I can get my team down there to investigate.
Wasn't it you, Jim, that went to the Goss Cemetery?
Yes.
Was it you?
That
and did those great photographs of the Roth and fabulous photos. I got a chance to tell you that in person. I loved your photos. Yeah. Did you go to the Wasika House?
Yes, I've investigated there twice, and we're definitely going to be doing that again this spring or summer because we got some fantastic stuff out of there.
That place is intense. That place is intense. When that's also in the Possessed, actually that is the Possessed. That's the Wasika Wonder story. Is our film The Possessed is the Wasika Wonder story, and we had put Mantino Asylum because the old Peoria one, the Barton State one, Barton State was the closest to the one that she would have been put in, but that was pulled down, so we couldn't film it in the late 1800s, maybe 1875. It actually was pulled down, so it was no longer, we could not film it, so we did basically do the Barton State to give you the concept for the exterior, and we did the interior of Morgan Cottage at the Mantino to give you the idea of what it was like to, be accused of possession and locked up in an asylum, and the treatments that they would have done on you. Basically, if you were not crazy when you went in, you were crazy when you got out, if you got out.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many stories. We'll get back to Ashmore, but one little thing about Mantino. Up in Chicago, they used to do, I think they call them bum, B-U-M, bum runs, where they would pick up all the drunks, all the homeless people on buses and take them down to Mantino for the winter. And it would more or less just drive in, drop them off, and Mantino would start taking care of them. Well, there are a lot of them, why leave? This is a better life than they've ever had. And they would stay there. And then they got forgotten. And you had people that weren't, didn't have any type of mental disability or anything, that were stuck up there. And like you say, if you weren't crazy when you went in, you sure were when you left.
Mm-hmm. If you left, yes.
That's when they started doing all the lobotomies and stuff like that up there.
We did 2 laser grid investigations. One we did in the Mantino, which I believe is the Morgan Cottage that we shot in. We did a laser grid set up there in the hydrotherapy room. We did that same experiment in Ashmore in the hallway and got incredible results of shadows breaking the lasers. Actually, when it happened, we had the news. If you remember, Scott, the news crew was there. You had a lot of news crews at that time when we were there. So it was a very intense night and very unexplainable, all the things that had happened in Ashmore. Very intense place.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Bill Chappell catching a shadow person on his video.
Do you remember though? Do you remember, Scott, when we came up and we had it was like 12 or 13 cameras running at the same time, and every one of them shut off at the same time. Every one of them.
Yep, I remember that. Every one of them shut off, and everybody looked at me for an explanation. And I'm like, power's on.
Yeah, like I said, well, you pulled the power. I said, well, they're all on batteries. How does that happen? They're all on battery packs. How does the power have anything to do with it?
All of a sudden, everybody's looking at me like, I didn't do anything.
I know. That's actually in Children of the Grave, too, where we all turn and give Scott that evil eye, like, what'd you do?
Did the batteries just drain, or did the cameras actually shut off?
All the cameras shut off completely. All of them shut off at the same time, as well as the laser grid shut off. And the only way to shut the laser grid is you had to reach your hand inside the laser and turn it off. There's no way for it to have shut off, and the power was still on. We were running an extension cord down the hallway. So it was very unexplainable. But that's in the Children of the Grave, too, and it's very intense. You can see the shadows going across the laser grid and breaking it, as well as we had used at that time, the Paranormal Puck, before Bill's other devices were out. It was more of an older style thing. was spitting out a lot of incredible things, including Elva, and shedding some light to Elva Skinner, who was the little girl that is known to haunt the place that she had burned alive in a previous, I believe it was a school, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a school that was built on that same ground that Ashmore eventually took over, and that was intense.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Michelle.
It wasn't a school. It was the first poor farm on the property.
Okay. So, but it was a place that was actually before it. And then, of course, Scott actually had found Elva's tombstone, didn't you?
Yeah, we found that it was filmed. I guess did we do a filming of Elva? Yeah, for Children of the Grave we did.
We did that, and then you had sent me the photographs of the tombstone, but unfortunately the film was already pressed and ready to go out. But you had actually found the gravestone that actually it had her name on it, didn't it, Skinner?
Yeah, Elva Ludesky, is it, Michelle?
Ludesky, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner, yeah, and she was 4 years, 11 months and 15 days old when when her dress caught on fire and she died from the wounds that she got from her dress being on fire. And she was 15 days from being 5 years old, and she spent most of her life, 4 years of her life, in the poor farm because her father died right before. She was about 6 months old or something like that, and her father died, and her family got sent to the poor farm, and they lived there until the month after Elva died.
Did you ever experience any more from? Is it Joe, right? Wasn't it Joe? Old Joe.
Yeah, Joe is probably the most frequent visitor that people find in the building. Joe's a full body apparition. He shows up as either a full body visual, or and he's opaque too. You can't see through him usually. He does show up sometimes as a dark shadow person. I've had people tell me that they've seen a white shadow person, we've had lots and lots. I've probably had 40 people report to me that they've seen him. And while we were filming on the third floor, Christopher, I don't know if you ever heard this, but while we were filming on the third floor for Children of the Grave 2, Sherry, who was there with ISPI, was down on the first floor, and she was walking down the hall, and our cat, which I was going to tell you last night, our cat survived. The cat of the building survived the tornado. But our cat came walking out of a side room and turned and looked back in the doorway that it just had come out of. And Sherry looked down and she saw the cat, and the cat was looking behind itself, and Sherry's eyes kind of looked up, and Joe looked right out at her, and she was about 5 feet from him. And she came upstairs, and I saw her when she came upstairs, and she looked visibly shaken. And this is a paranormal investigator, but she looked visually shaken. And I asked her what had happened. I mean, you've heard people say that someone looks white as a ghost. Sherry didn't have tone in her skin. She looked white as a ghost to me. And I asked her what had happened, and she relayed to me that she had just been 5 feet away from Joe, and he looked out from a doorway at her. And he's done that to other people too. So there.
Well, do you remember Phil had the camera? Do you remember Phil had the camera pulled out of his hands by an unseen force in that where the area that he was? Just to familiarize you with the story of old Joe, he was a chap who lived in the poor farm, and he was about, was he in the late 70s or early 80s or something?
When he died in 1921, and he was either 67 or 70 years old, depending on whether you listen to the obituary or you listen to the gravestone. We do have his obituary. and he used to visit a half-sister that he had up in Oakland. And he'd walk to Oakland, I guess, or he'd get some sort of a ride, and he got too close to a train in Ashmore. There used to be train tracks in Ashmore, and he got too close to a train and was hit by the train, partially hit by the train, spun around, landed on the ground, beat him up pretty bad. Somebody brought him back to the building, and he died in the building.
And then he was known to basically haunt the front room. The concept was that he looks out the window, yes?
Well, we have the little boy that looks out the front window, but Joe has been seen all throughout the building. As a matter of fact, the time that, if I were a paranormal investigator, the time that I probably would have been the happiest was when I saw what people see that they claim to be Joe. And he was actually where the stairway would be on the west side of the building, but that stairway had been taken out, and the new building was built there. But I looked down the hall and saw all the way to the end, just about to the end of the hall, I saw what looked like a person with a top hat leaning out and looking down the hallway at me.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the creepiness we felt. Not to mention, we talked last night about the shadow figures found on the I guess in the stairway near the back of the new part of the building, and Rick Hayes would not even dare going in there. His feelings that he had picked up. I mean, Jim, you know Rick Hayes from The Possessed, and he was very intense at the Wasika Wonder House. Well, Rick, we used Rick as well at the Ashmore Estates investigation, and he was so adamant he could not go into this one room. He was just starting to feel sick. He just got violently ill. So we went ahead in there when Keith had his thermal up, and then we actually had caught what appeared to be 2 to 3 type shadows that were sort of rocking back and forth over like a sort of a bed type concept, rocking back. Incredible and very intensely hard to explain what it is, because they were like 3 like type figures or something. Kind of like just pacing, kind of hovering over there. It was intense. I mean, really intense.
Scott, what's probably the most eerie thing that you've seen there at Ashmore Estates?
How's a tornado?
Okay. other than the events of a week ago today, what would you say would be the eeriest thing you've ever seen there?
Well, you know, the building doesn't scare me at all. I think that probably that 1 second that I saw what people talk about being Joe, you know. But there was a time in 2007 when I was knocking some plaster off of a wall in one of the rooms, and the plaster dropped on the ground and created a big cloud of smoke, or big cloud of plaster dust. And I walked out of the room into the hallway, and I heard somebody walk up the stairs, and didn't think anything of it. It was like a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00, and I figured it was my wife, and so I just yelled down the hall. I said, "Tanya, are you there?" No response. I walked down to the doorway, opened the door. I said, "Tanya?" No response. I walked down the stairs that I just heard somebody walk up, and I look out, and 200 feet away from me, she's standing over there by our trailer. And I yelled over to her, "Were you just in here?" And she said, "No, she was on the other side of the trailer." And I looked and I saw my son. He was playing in a little hole that we had dug. And I know that we were the only 3 that were on the property, and I know I heard somebody walk up those stairs, but there was nobody there. We've heard lots. I guess I've heard my wife call me in the building 3 times when she wasn't in the building. 2 of the times she was asleep in the trailer. I've heard last year, 2 years ago, 2011, on a Sunday morning, after we had run on haunted attraction the night before, I was walking through the building to go to the lobby to get something, and I was halfway through the hallway on the first floor, and in what would be the activity room, which was next to it, through a brick wall, I heard a lady say a sentence. I couldn't tell exactly what she said, but I heard a full sentence. And I'm not a paranormal investigator, and I'm a huge skeptic, and I was just like, yeah, right. But I heard it, and I can't say that I didn't hear it, but yeah, I've been in the building probably more than anybody in the last 25 years, and I just love the building. There is a definite aura and a feel for the building. It's a wonderful place to own, and it's a wonderful place to allow other people to come to and experience it for themselves.
And that's more of a reason to get this going here. Michelle, do you have any information on how to make donations locally in Coles County?
As in what we have or what we're looking for?
Both. Yeah, who you get in touch with, or who someone get in touch with?
Right now, we don't have a lot of local donations. A lot of them are coming from paranormal groups to the north and east of us, which I am so thankful for. Most of our local groups are actually involved in the benefit. Right now, as far as I know, the venue that we're going to be using is going to be donated. Any entertainment that we have will be local and donated.
Nice.
We are looking for, anything to be donated that we could auction off, because every penny will help get our building back up.
Yeah. And who would they, if anybody has anything to donate, how would they go about doing that? Who would they contact?
They can contact myself at migs_hauntings@yahoo.com or on Facebook. Also, Becky Guyman, whose email address I don't have in front of me, and I apologize to her. Or you can call Scott Kelly, and he can direct you in the right path.
Okay. All right. And Becky just popped up here. Oh, Becky's email is becky.imps@gmail.com. And she also says they're working on a fund at a local bank, so everything can be, money will be donated there. Excellent. Yes. And Christopher, would you like to tell us one more time or if you have them there handy, how they can get? Oh, wait a minute, they already did that. We have it posted on the chat. How to get your Children of the Grave videos.
Yeah, just go to Spook TV or Children of the Grave, and we've put up a special thing that says Help Ashmore Estates. Everything has it on it. It has also the direct link to Ashmore. If you just want to give to Ashmore and you don't want the DVD, you can do that too. If you want the DVD, which we are personally autographing, so whatever name the order is under, unless you want to put a note, we actually autograph it personally to that person, and then inside the cover we write a special note of hope for Ashmore, signed by both Phil and I, and then we give $10 to the Ashmore Estates Fund, so that because obviously Children of the Grave 2 has about 25 minutes of Ashmore in it. It's a big story about Ashmore. It has a beautiful panoramic zoom down of the exterior, which is incredible, of the building, which is a nice piece to remember it. Our photography, goes is very intense about when we're shooting the exterior, so we go right out of our way to make sure the building is very beautifully filmed. And then, of course, we do go through the whole history and a lot of the archive footage of newspaper articles photos and everything else of the people that were residing in Ashmore at a poor farm, and of course the stories behind it, as well as the legends and the hauntings of Ashmore. So it's pretty well covered in Children of the Grave too.
Excellent. And Scott, how can people want to get a hold of you or do some donating through you? How would they do that?
Probably the best way to do a donation is through the Spook TV link. Okay. If you go to spooktv.com.
You're going to have enough on your plate without worrying about this.
Yeah, but Christopher has the links. There's a donation link that goes to PayPal, and there's Buying Children of the Grave 2, which they've generously decided to give us $10 per copy. And then there's also through the IMPS and I hope I said that right, and MIGS, Michelle and Becky are doing awesome things for us, and I'm so grateful to them, and they've done a lot for us. I did want to mention one thing. We talked earlier about Elva, and I have to say that we are lucky. We have our own genealogist for the building. Her name is Alicia Morrison, and Alicia is the one who can be credited with finding Elva and finding the truth about the story of Elva. And I'm grateful to her because Elva is a really key part of the building.
So we need to put that roof back on for Elva as well, as not just for all of us who want to investigate it, and also for the incredible people of Ashmore and the similar counties next to it that comes out for the haunted house every year, but also to respect Scott and Tanya's passion of taking. I mean, it's not every day that a person will take on a building like that and put everything they got into it to create a beautiful entertainment for somebody else. You know, in haunted houses, or even open up to the paranormal community and we'll let you go in there and, you know, really do some serious investigation. I mean, that is a great thing, and we need to support people like that. Otherwise, we won't have any places to do. That is very important. My hats go off to all of them, Scott and Tanya and John Whitman of the Wasika Wonder House, and all the other people, all the locations we've done, and how nice they've been to, you know, let us, you know, tell the history and film it, and also, you know, give a nice gratuity to it. But it's really important that we take care of these buildings, because we need them as much as they need us.
Okay, that is very, very true. Well, guys and gal, we are out of time for this evening. That hour went very quick. And Christopher, I want to thank you very much for coming on, taking an hour out of your evening to be on the show tonight.
Thank you.
And Scott, you too. And I pray that you get this thing going and get it back up. This will be fantastic. And as soon as you do, I want to get my group down there to be one of the first ones back in. And Michelle, thank you for everything, for all the information and all the fundraising information you have. And just watch either, you know, Philip's Facebook page or Ashmore Estates Facebook page for more information that's coming up. There's going to be a lot more stuff, will be announced and get this thing going for March.
What we've done, Jimmy, is I've asked Scott to take photos of the progress, to show everybody what's really going on out there, and also to show, you know, the devastation that did happen, and also the community coming together, you know, whether it's the local community, friends, or paranormal community, to show how much we really do care about these people as well as the building. And, of course, anybody that really wants to do something cool or, you know, whatever, you can always contact me. You can private message me on Facebook or whatever, and I'll be gladly to do whatever I can to continue to hopefully get a roof onto Ashmore as soon as possible, and help Scott, you know, get his passion, you know, relived in that building.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully, maybe you guys can make it out here for this event
I definitely, we're definitely trying. We have to do a film this year, so it's killing a lot of our schedules. We're doing a new movie for the network, and kind of like Death Tunnel 2. But it's not called that, but it's kind of like a Death Tunnel 2. So we're very excited about doing a new motion picture. So it's actually taken an incredible amount of our energy and time to do it, but it's something that we need to do. We've been doing paranormal for a long time now, so we wanted to go ahead and do something. Though, of course, the story is supernatural that we're doing. Of course, it is very creepy, cool, but that does not ever go away to the fact of the beautiful people and the things that we have filmed and the experiences we've met. I mean, I have to tell you, Scott is one of the most truest gentlemen that I've met through this field, and he's always been genuine. And it's really time to give back. I think a lot of people. I mean, Jim, if you've never investigated Ashmore, you've got to get in there the minute we open up, and I do believe we will open it back up. So if anybody can spare anything, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's $1, $5, $10, $20, we can put it towards getting a roof on that, and hopefully if we can get enough, we can put that roof on it, and that's the idea.
It's income tax time, so people will be getting their refunds back. People can spare $10.
If I can spare a hat, somebody can spare $10. Come on.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And I never let my hats go. So there you go.
Even on a windy day?
It's sewn on my head. Well, screw gunned.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And Christopher, I'll see you down in Louisville on the 16th.
Okay, and God bless everybody.
Yeah, have a good evening, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I sit alone with windows
Hey,
wide.
Christopher, are you still here?
When everyone is sleeping, at midnight I can hear the cry of ancient spirits weeping, and I listen for the heart of me to tell me what they know. If history bears repeating, won't you let me go? I watch the hours, the creeping flowers growing over my window, the laughing sky pregnant with clouds breathe children in a bubble, and I listen for the heart of me to tell me what they know. If history bears repeating, won't you let me go? The tide is coming in again to wash away my sorrow, until the ghost of poets past return to me tomorrow, and I listen for the heart of me to tell me what they know. If history bears repeating, won't you let me